Hi everyone, it's Karolyn here and I'm super excited to share another My Favorite Things release class project with you. It features a fun and easy technique using the new pop-up alphabet dynamics. These dies are unique in that they die cut most of the letter but are scored at the bottom edge of the die so that when you die cut them, the letters remain hinged to the card. This results in a super cool peekaboo effect, but they can also be used as a sort of slot or closure mechanism. You have the versatility of creating your own greetings and securely closing your card. In addition to the pop-up alphabet dynamics, I'm also using the stitched rainbow dynamics, the stitched cloud edges dynamics, the essential fishtail sentiment strip dynamics, the mini cloud edges stencil, and the magical unicorn stamp set. I started by trimming a 4 1/4 inch by 11 inch card base from smooth white cardstock, and I'm scoring it at 2 inches and 7.5 inches, which will result in an asymmetrical gatefold card. I'm using some 2-inch Post-it tape to cover the back of the card base to protect it from getting inky. And then I'm going to create some clouds on the front of the card base using some Tumble Glass Distress ink and the Mini Cloud Edges stencil. I'm just switching the stencil from one side to another as I ink so that I get a different cloud edge each time I move it. Ink blending is like therapy for me. I love the rhythmic movement. But if you don't like ink blending, you could easily replace this step by just adding a piece of light blue pattern paper to represent the cloudy sky. Do whatever makes you happy. Now I'm arranging the pop-up alphabet dies to form the word dream. I flip them over to the back and I'm aligning them using my smart grid pad to make sure they're lined up correctly. If you don't have a grid pad like this, use the straight edge of a ruler or a heavy piece of cardstock to align your dies. Then add a strip of washi tape to hold them in place. Next, I'm carefully removing the Post-it tape from the back of the card base, and I'm adhering the dies to the non-inked end of the card base. Be sure that the top of the letters are pointing in the direction of the card base edge. Off camera, I ran them through my Big Shot, and then carefully pulled the dies away from the card base. If you're patient, they should just pop right off without too much effort. I'm using my tweezers to push out the inside edges of the letters, and then carefully folding those inside letter edges away. Next, I die cut one of the stitched cloud edge dies from a 3-inch by 4 1/4 inch piece of smooth white cardstock, and the word dream from the bottom edge of a piece of black licorice cardstock. I also die cut the stitched rainbow die from razzleberry, orange zest, sunshine, limelight, blue raspberry, and boysenberry cardstock. I'm now adhering the letter die cuts to the card base using a glue pen. This will help that focal word really stand out against the white background. And my handy tweezers really save my nerves as I maneuver those skinny letters onto my project and keep me from transferring glue from my fingers to places where it doesn't belong. What did we ever do before paper crafting tools were invented? I don't know what I'd do without my tweezers, my Misty, my bone folder, my score buddy. The list goes on and on. For me, the tools are as much fun as the stamps and dies, and really make paper crafting so much easier than the old days. You know, the days when we had to hand cut things and start all over if we misstamped something. Ah, the good old days. Okay, enough chit-chat. Now I'm folding my card base on those lines that I scored in the beginning of the video at 2 inches and 7.5 inches, and I'm perfecting the creases with my Teflon bone folder. Then I'm taking that stitched cloud border die cut and I'll slip the straight edge of the cut behind the letters. But before I do that, I'm using my tweezers to fold back the inside flaps of those letters. If you want, you can lightly score those areas with a stylus to make it easier to push them back. I use my fingers to push those flaps back and pull the letters forward. Doing this will create a clear path for the bottom edge of the upper card base to slide right in behind those letters when it comes time to close it up. Easy peasy. And now that strip of clouds fits like a glove. To adhere the rainbow, I decided to use the negative of one of my rainbow die cuts to help me align the strips. I'm adhering it here to the cloudy end of the card base, and I'm sure you're all aware of the rainbow order, Roy G. Biv. I'm adhering the strips with a glue pen, and that negative die cut really helps me to butt those pieces right up next to each other. And once again, my tweezers really come in handy. They're like my third hand. I adhere the strips one by one, giving each a gentle rub to make sure it's secure. First razzleberry, then orange zest, sunshine, limelight, blue raspberry, and finally boysenberry. Creating rainbows just makes me happy. You can never have enough rainbows in your life. Once my little stitched rainbow is all assembled, I can remove the negative die cut that I used for my template. And now I can adhere that strip of clouds with some foam squares. Extending the length of the card base with these clouds was necessary in order to have something slide behind those letters. I'm a little neurotic when it comes to having a perfectly sized A2 card, so this really helped ease my anxiety. If you don't care about this, feel free to adjust your score lines so that your card works without that extension. See? Perfect fit. Now I'm ready to create my sentiment. I've chosen a sentiment from the Magical Unicorn stamp set, and I'm stamping it onto a scrap of smooth white cardstock that I positioned in my mini MISTI. I stamp it first in black licorice hybrid ink, and then I stamp it a second time using Versamark ink. I heat emboss it with clear embossing powder off camera. Doing this really intensifies that black ink and gives it a look of elegance. Lastly, I die cut the sentiment using the Essential Fishtail Flag Sentiment Strip die-namics. I've added a few foam squares to the back of the sentiment strip, and then I'm adhering it to the card base just underneath those die cut letters. And there's those handy tweezers again. Finally, I'm adding some sparkling clear sequins with some multi-medium matte and my jewel picker. You can't have a rainbow without a few raindrops, so these are the perfect finishing touch. And voila! You've got yourself a unique gatefold card using those pop-up alphabet dies as your closure mechanism. This would be great to use when you have something you want to keep safe inside, like money or a gift card. Thanks so much for watching my video today. I hope you enjoyed it and that you'll give this technique a try. Be sure and check out the other September release class videos for more great content. Have an awesome day.